MAG started when we were faced with the human cost, and for me personally it was finding the remains of a young shepherd boy who'd had his foot blown off by a PFM butterfly mine and had bled slowly to death with nobody knowing, and then realizing that a little boy or a little girl had disappeared from almost every village I knew of. And I suppose it was a natural response. I had the technical expertise to do something, and I had the will to do it. And the people around me who helped me set up MAG and have worked with it since have, I think, had that same approach.
The Mines Advisory Group has been operational in Cambodia since December 1992. Currently, MAG employs 5 demining teams and 2 mine awareness teams in Battambang province, and there are plans to expand the operation into new areas. The selected communities with whom MAG works are severely affected by the legacies of over 20 years of fighting. Mines and unexploded ordnance, or UXO as it is referred to, litter the rural areas, denying these agrarian communities access to their most important asset, their land. As a result, mines impoverish the whole community and make even the most routine aspects of rural life fraught with danger.
Nhóm chia diêm vô khá đây. Nhóm tao tru cho cá nhóm đó mà ngày nâng trôi 50 cược.
Miền này cái xanh này ấy nhóm mới đào từ lơ nó miền không đã đại trường ấy miền đàoខ្លួនem rồi chứ. Tôi bỏ cái bông tối và cò nói là tôi cặp đào cào bên gì đó.
I don't really believe that there's yet a full understanding for the impact of anti-personnel mines on affected communities, either at government level or within the United Nations. The United Nations is beginning to respond, but I haven't seen the kind of response that there should be to a problem that is affecting more than 30 countries and primarily affecting people who are entitled to international protection. Refugees, farmers, the poor, children, all these people are especially vulnerable to the effects of anti-personnel mines.
In Cambodia today, there are somewhere in the region of 200,000 internally displaced people, people who have been forced to leave their homes during bouts of fighting and who have been unable to return after the fighting has passed due to the presence of mines. As refugees in their own country, they require large-scale humanitarian assistance currently provided by the international aid agencies. However, such assistance, if it is to be meaningful, is extremely costly and fails to address the root problem. Furthermore, the loss of productive land creates still further strains for a national economy already weakened by years of conflict and instability.
Well, these people originally came from Bang Pil camp. Of course, that wasn't their real home. They'd been displaced from the west of Ratanak Mondol and had been living there for about 2 years when they were displaced about a month ago. They've been here, as I say, for a month. They've been receiving quite good support in the field here with the water distribution, which we've just seen, and all the blue plastic, which has been supplied by the Cambodian Red Cross and through the humanitarian agencies. These people should shortly be going home as the fighting sort of receded from the area of Bang Pil and the whole district of Ratanak Mondol. However, of course, going home for them does not mean going home. It means going back to another internally displaced persons camp, a little bit closer to where their original homes are. Those homes are in the west of the district and are still in one of the most heavily mined areas of Cambodia.
This was Bang Pil camp in October 1993, temporary home to more than 12,000 people and one of the largest camps for civilians displaced from their homes by landmines in Cambodia. In the 1960s, this area was one of Cambodia's most prosperous centers of commercial agriculture. In 1994, there was extensive fighting here. Not only were mines laid, but the artillery duels which devastated the area left their usual legacy of large numbers of unexploded shells and mortars. As the fighting receded, MAG's first priority was to get some sense of the scale of the problem before the return of the civilian population. To achieve this, MAG relied on the strong relationships it's developed with local leaders and people living in mine-affected areas. The information enabled MAG to target its work more effectively. Failure to do so might have devastating consequences for the local people.
Basically, what's happened is the truck's come down the road, put its wheel into where the mine's been laid, and the whole truck has gone up. Where they lay an anti-tank mine in the road, we'll surround it on the verges or on the edges of the road with anti-personnel as well. So anyone that's on the truck when it goes up, when they get off, they're liable to stand anti-personnel as well.
Once selected, minefields require painstaking and orderly clearance with highly sensitive detecting equipment. However, in some situations, the lethal debris of war can be more easily identified and destroyed.
What we want to do also is to take a team into Sadao town and do a visual search, okay? Collecting things like this, fuses, and any ordnance that hasn't functioned lying around the town. That's a priority because children and people coming back may not know what they are, may use them, may play with them, cut them up. A humanitarian, village-based and village-targeted demining organisation like MAG can have a big impact in target areas and with specific communities. We spend a lot of time and energy prioritising our work areas. If we want to pick up mines, we know where the mines are. We can just go along and pick up a large quantity of mines. If we want to put up a big tally sheet of all the mines in UXO we pick up, we can do that any day. But the real question is, how is it benefiting the community? Which communities are benefiting? And to what extent? And so we target our mine clearance to have the maximum impact on the largest group of people that are most affected by mines.
In the most heavily mined areas, breadwinners are forced to take risks with mines to support their families. They will enter known mined areas to scavenge for food and firewood, sometimes with dreadful consequences.
I went to cut thatch in the forest, so I couldn't make the roof. When I was walking, I passed under a mango tree. I was looking up to get the fruit, and then it happened. I stepped on the mine because I didn't look to the ground. Even when we have land and rice fields, if there are lots of mines, we can't use it. Everywhere there are mines. If you dare step off the path you walk every day, then you risk stepping on the mine.
Educating communities about mines is essential to what we do. We can't clear all the mines in a short time. We can't even mark all the minefields in less than several years in most of the worst affected countries. And therefore, what we have to do is work with the communities to teach them ways of living with the problem, of living in a mined environment as safely as possible.